WROC-TV 8, serving the Rochester area for 40 years. Rochester's first television station. This is News 8.
The violence continues in Beijing. Good evening, I'm Jim Parsons.
And I'm Virginia Butler. Troops are filling Tiananmen Square in Beijing, and despite relative calm at this hour, there are reports of skirmishes between citizens and soldiers and of divisions amongst the troops themselves. President Bush is condemning China's use of military force against the demonstrators and has ordered a series of suspensions.
Suspension of all government-to-government sales and commercial exports of weapons. Suspension of visits between U.S. and Chinese military leaders, sympathetic review of requests by Chinese students in the United States to extend their stay.
He says the U.S. will also review all aspects of its bilateral relationship with China as events continue to unfold. Bush calls his action a prudent, reasoned response.
Here at home, Chinese students at the U of R and RIT called an emergency meeting today to show support for the pro-democracy movement in Beijing and on Chinese college campuses. The students say the Chinese government has effectively stopped most reports of the violence in Beijing from reaching other Chinese cities. Students here hope to get that information to their friends and families.
The government is really blocking all the news and, to let people know what happened. So we were trying to collect some money locally so that we can send back the truth. And also we're trying to let them know, let the people in China know, we are here to support them.
Donations can be sent to the student associations to help pay for faxing information. Businesses are also being asked to help by giving their fax numbers in their Chinese offices. How does the situation in China affect Beijing's relationship with Washington? Well, joining us now is Donald Bain, Director of Strategic and Diplomatic Studies at St. John Fisher College.
Dr. Bain, will President Bush's sanctions put any real pressure on the Chinese government?
No, not in the short run. I think this is a warning as much as it is anything else to Deng and the other leadership in China to restrain in future what has been a catastrophic weekend and beginning to the week. Secondly, I think it's also to placate members of the House and Senate on Capitol Hill, who, as you know, are very vigorous in their support for the student demonstrators in Beijing and also wish the president to act much firmer than he has.
Well, if this is just a warning and it doesn't have any real teeth in it, could it possibly cause some alienation among the Chinese students against America?
It could. It suggests a tentativeness on the part of the administration. On the other hand, it's the president's responsibility at this point, with the situation still so unclear, to steer a middle course, to make an effort to remain on speaking in diplomatic terms with the incumbent government, yet on the other hand not alienate totally the students who are involved with the protest.
What kind of world pressure could be applied to make a difference in this?
Well, not a great deal internally. The great fear is, at least from Beijing, that foreign investment, tourism, and the dependability of the army are all in serious doubt right now. The greatest disaster that could occur is that this vulnerability created by the decline in legitimacy of the Chinese government could invite the dismemberment of China, perhaps even foreign intervention, the Soviet Union being the most obvious, the second perhaps Japan, who's had a long historical interest in mainland China.
All right, Dr. Bain, thank you very much for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, President Bush has held off on economic sanctions, saying he doesn't want to hurt the Chinese people. U.S. investors could be hurt by such action, but already many are closing offices for the time being. Robin Taylor reports.
The U.S. is the largest foreign investor in China, besides Hong Kong, doing billions of dollars of business. Still, U.S. investment is relatively small. In the past 5 years, many major U.S. companies, including Kodak and Xerox, have established branch offices. But today, Kodak shut down 2 of its 3 branches.
Well, Shanghai and Beijing offices were closed strictly because of concern over the safety of the people. And we'll leave them closed until further notice.
Chinese political situation has never been very stable. or never been stable for a long time. So therefore, for any foreign countries going in, it's always very hesitant. Now, for the
China needs Western technology for modernization, but it's been difficult for U.S. businesses to locate there. Economic sanctions would hurt American investments.
I think there are two concerns. One is our direct profits for our company, but on the second, United States, American companies in China right now, quite a number of them are very well strategically located.
It's also unclear whether sanctions would have an impact.
Looks like right now the Chinese authorities simply doesn't care about the people. They don't mind. If they can use guns, automatic weapons and using tanks to their people, what else they care?
At this point, local Chinese students agree. Economic sanctions may not have as much of an impact on the political struggle as world opinion. Robin Taylor, News 8.
Well, City Council has approved plans for a riverfront park by the U of R. The 8-0 vote today, with one councilman, Tim Maines, absent, clears the way for the city, U of R, and Bausch and Lomb to begin planning the park. Council also included a provision to expand parking in that area. The park is to run on the east side of the Genesee River between Ford Street and Elmwood Avenue.
A grim discovery today for a security guard at a Mount Hope Avenue high-rise. He opened apartment 106 at the River Park Commons and found the tenant, 46-year-old Christopher O'Leary, dead on the bathroom floor. A neighbor claims she was there when the door was opened.
He was laying on the bathroom floor. One hand was behind his back and one was laying straight on his leg. Dry blood everywhere, and he had like a steak knife in his heart.
Police say security checked on O'Leary at the request of his family, who hadn't heard from him for a while. Police say he had been dead for more than a week. An autopsy will be performed tomorrow.
And a bizarre accident on East Main Street this morning. Craig Watkins was pinned against a wall by a car when its driver accidentally put the car into drive instead of reverse. Watkins was taken to Genesee Hospital, where he was treated and released with minor injuries.
Still ahead tonight, we'll tell you when to expect CBS programming on TV 8.
And have wine coolers gone flat? We'll have more in a moment.
Prism, Toyota Corolla. Put them side by side and they may look close, but they're really miles apart. They're built in the same plant, but Prism gets fuel injection. Corolla doesn't. Prism's 16-valve dual overhead cam engine has 38% more horsepower. And another powerful difference. With the first-time buyers program, Prism costs $12.93 less. Affordable import technology is closer than you think with Geo Prism from your Monroe County Geo dealer.
Most of the time, after a manufacturer puts the finishing touches on a suit or sport coat, he ships it to a wholesaler who marks it up. He, in turn, ships it to a retailer who also marks it up. But there is a manufacturer who ships his garments directly to his own stores, which is why his suits and sport coats carry a different mark. Anderson Little, a good suit at a good price.
President Bush says he's not sure yet what will happen in Iran in the wake of Ayatollah Khamenei's death. The U.S. said no relations with Iran, and Bush says he's not going to make overtures to the new regime because he still considers Iran to be a terrorist state.
If your nights are getting way too late, the sag in your mattress may be getting way too deep. You need a beauty rest. Its unique individually wrapped coils are pre-compressed to give you a comfortable mattress that stays forever firm. Sleep on a beauty rest, and here's something you haven't heard in years.
Good night, hon.
For a limited time, get Beauty Rest quality at an affordable price with the Beauty Rest Classic. Beauty Rest by Simmons. Forever firm.
Beauty Rest mattresses now on sale at Victor Furniture and Attica Furniture.
There's a place on your radio where you can find the music that makes you feel good. Wish 95 FM. Wish 95 FM plays a lot of music. Light and easy favorites you can enjoy all day. In your car, at work, at home, anytime. Wish 95 FM plays continuous music that's easy to listen to. So turn to Wish 95 FM for the music that makes you feel good.
Well, beginning in August, you'll be able to see your favorite CBS programs here on WROC-TV 8. WROC's on-air affiliation with CBS officially begins August 13th. WROC has for several weeks now been airing CBS programming that is otherwise preempted in this market. Our general manager Tom Kenny says the date was largely chosen to accommodate the viewers.
We wanted to do the change date at the earliest possible time to allow the viewer to become accustomed to it before the new season starts. And with all of the needs mechanically for satellite dishes and everything, that's the time frame it took. So.
The first CBS program TV8 will air is 60 Minutes on Sunday, August 13th.
Wine coolers. Their sales have slipped, but will they fizzle? As Robin DeWind reports, this summer drink is trying to hold its own.
They're carbonated, they're sweet, but they aren't selling. Wine coolers, they were the hot drink to buy 5 years ago. Sales that amounted to over 30% of the wine industry gradually slipped as this skyrocketing business stabilized.
Although it represents 20% of the wine business, it is not growing. In fact, last year we saw about a 7% decline.
Coolers may be cooling in sales, but there are still consumers willing to buy. Grape growers are counting on it.
The more areas that you can get your product into, the better off you are. And coolers still demand an awful lot of grapes. I think there's we sell over 1 million cases of them a year. That's a lot of juice.
Most cooler brands died out over the last few years. The market is now dominated by 4 major brands: Seagram's, Bartles & James, California Cooler, and Sun Country Cooler. Industry leaders say the drop in sales may be attributed to a change in consumer buying habits.
Maybe they don't drink them as often. They found a place for coolers in their drinking habits. Sometimes instead of having a cooler by the pool, maybe they're having a glass of iced tea.
To capture this dwindling audience, many cooler makers are adding new flavors. But optimism is running high that wine coolers are here to stay.
I think you'll reach a plateau, and maybe we've reached that, or we're adjusting to find it.
Robin DeWind, News 8.
City council members have agreed to relieve the Hyatt hotel project of its legal problems. That means the city is free to find another developer in hopes of completing the project within 2 years. Tina Dunbar reports.
The Hyatt meeting turned into a political battle between mayoral candidates before the council voted on the settlement.
Why am I the only one speaking against it? Why is everybody coming up to this microphone saying how wonderful this is? Frankly, I think it's a sham. It casts an aura of distrust in every one of you.
John Erb drilled the mayor and his administration, questioning the rush and whether taxpayers are actually footing the $7 million package.
To use even more money on the Hyatt is a desperate plan. I called it an election year fix, except it doesn't really fix anything.
Ryan says federal urban renewal funds are being used to pay off over $14 million in liens and claims to avoid 2 more years of litigation. Ryan argues this is the only way to clear the path for a new developer.
We are fairly confident that the project is economically feasible. They think it is, but they have not put numbers together, and they're not going to make that kind of expenditure or commitment until they know when they can get the property and that one entity controls it.
In effect, the city is settling who actually owns the properties and paying a great deal less than the original claims. Last year, its original claim was $6 million and will receive $4.75 million. Turner Construction asked for $4 million and will receive less than $1.5 million. Westinghouse settled for nearly $1 million. The architects, $1,500,000, and all the Paul Snyder entities will receive nothing. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., the city is scheduled to close on the Hyatt. Ryan says there are at least 6 developers still interested. With the deed in hand, the city is ready to begin negotiations. Tina Dunbar, News 8.
Well, just ahead, WROC's first weatherman, Bob Mills, says an improvement ahead in the forecast.
And JC with the first place Orioles. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Wendy's.
We make the best hamburgers in the business. But my daughter Wendy says, Dad, people are eating more salads today. So let's make a great taco salad with lettuce and tomato covered with chili and cheese. So I said, Wendy, muchas gracias, which means that's a heck of a good idea.
And now try Wendy's delicious taco salad to go.
Our salads are the best in the business. Or I wouldn't name the place after my daughter.
It's no secret why some room additions outshine others. Anderson windows and patio doors make a dazzling difference.
Come home.
Get this 84-page book of window ideas at these Anderson dealers.
Monday Lumber and Home, Rydell Millwork Incorporated, and Rochester Lumber.
A top medical expert is predicting a poor outlook for the fight against AIDS. The director of the World Health Organization's AIDS program says the number of people infected with the disease will double to more than 1 billion by 1991.
The Box Factory, on the canal in Fairport.
Are your teeth sensitive? Do they hurt? Sensodyne toothpaste can help stop the domino effect that can start with sensitivity. Then pain can make you stop brushing and can lead to tooth loss. Sensodyne toothpaste helps stop the pain and the domino effect.
How can there be oil in a powder?
Gold Bond medicated powders made with 4 essential oils. You can feel the difference.
That feels terrific. There really is oil in here, you know.
Now he's catching on.
Gold Bond medicated powder. Feel the difference oil makes.
Well, 25 years ago, WROC-TV weatherman Bob Mills was caught on tape in a rather compromising position. Actually, he was demonstrating the sauna available at the Country Club Barbershop in Fairport.
It was a new concept in Rochester way back then, as was the idea of putting Bob Mills on the air in the buff. Look at this guy. And I don't think he knows that we have this this tape that we're airing right now. And
it gets better.
I'm hearing him laughing in the background. Let's go to Bob is with us now, filling in for vacationing Bob Stokes.
With clothes on.
Bob Mills, after 15 years, welcome back.
Well, thank you very much. And here we are once again with the inside on the outside, and somebody is going to pay for that. I have never seen that before in my life, and I deny any complicity at all. The skies are clearing out in the west at the present time, but it still is raining. I'm not going to use this because I'm going to take a sauna shortly after this thing is over. Our current temperatures here in the Rochester area indicate that we have 61 degrees with the barometer finally steady. It's been falling all day, but right now at 29.95 inches, the humidity is 78% with the wind currently out of the northwest at 5 miles per hour. Now, taking a look at the temperatures around the state, Elmira was the place to be at least until 5 o'clock, but it dropped down to 65 degrees, so you can scratch Elmira at the present time. The satellite maps look pretty much like this. We have a low-pressure system over Kentucky with a stationary front that is moving in the vicinity of that particular area of low pressure, but there's a high-pressure system that is pushing down from the upper Midwest. This will bring a definite change in the system, and if that happens, we're going to have some beautiful weather coming for at least 3 or 4 days here in the Rochester area. This is the weather picture that was the Tops weather picture. Is that it there? Is that the one that the little girl did, Kara Hayes? No, we're over on the satellite map now. Well, we got a little bit confused out here because I haven't done this in so long. I haven't had a good sauna bath in quite some time. But you can see the low-pressure system coming up from Kentucky, being pushed by tremendous high pressure. Take a look at some of those temperatures around the country that are forecast for tomorrow. It's going to be a scorcher down in Florida, also in the southwest. Today it was 98 degrees in Phoenix. It was 91 in Tampa, Florida. And the surface map will look like this tomorrow with that big high-pressure system. The only thing I'm concerned about is the low pressure in the Ontario province, which could change everything completely around. Now here's that color picture drawn by a little girl named Kara Hayes. She goes to St. Anne's School. There's a picture of Virginia and Robin, and that's Jim up there in the tree. The forecast for Rochester and vicinity, well, it looks just like this. First of all, the marine forecast, we have almost 2 feet going on the lake. Temperatures of the lake water, 52 degrees, but the winds are 10 knots or less. And, of course, rainy tonight. Now, here's our forecast very quickly for you. Tonight, cloudy skies, light rain. On the cool side, a low 54 degrees, winds light and variable. For tomorrow, It'll be morning showers, then partial clearing, afternoon sunshine, high 73 degrees, southwest winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And for tomorrow night, partly cloudy, continued mild but dry, and a low of 55 degrees. Okay, well, what about Wednesday? Mostly sunny and mild with a high of 77 degrees. I'll have a great deal more for you on the late weather tonight at 11:15 or so. So until then, I hope you guys find some more videotape that you can play with. I may come back.
I think we have a bunch, Bob.
That would have been obscene back in those days.
Have a happy.
All right. Thank you, Bob. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones dropped nearly 37 points in active trading.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Tops Friendly Markets.
Tops never stops, saving you more. Tops never stops, look what's in store.
At Tops Friendly Markets, we put cleanliness next to friendliness. Maintaining a clean, sparkling store is just as important as offering you quality, variety, and lower overall prices. When it comes to cleanliness, nobody shines like Tops.
Tops never stops, saving you more. Tops never stops.
Imagine stepping into life 200 years ago in colonial Williamsburg. A living, breathing, working town. A town waiting to be discovered, experienced, explored. Another way of life is waiting for you. See it. Live it. For information, call 1-800-HISTORY and come to Colonial Williamsburg.
Major banks are dropping their prime lending rate a half point to 11%. That reflects the recent downward trend in other interest rates.
If you like chicken a lot, why settle for Chicken Little? Try a big Arby's chicken filet sandwich topped with lettuce and mayo served on a toasted poppy seed roll. Taste the Arby's difference.
When you're hot, you're hot. Let your temperature rise. When you're hot, you're hot. Can't believe your eyes. We're your Rochester area 4 team, and we're hot. Turning up the heat, make a deal so sweet. Show 'em what you got. Your Rochester area 4 team. When you're hot, you're hot.
Fresh and improved. Warm 101.3. Listen, soft rock, less talk, and now no repetition. Warm 101.3.
You want to get your muffler repaired fast? At Midas, we can usually get you in and out in less than an hour. Whether your car is domestic or foreign. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Well, one golf tournament down, another one about to begin, Jason.
That's right, and a big event sandwiched right in the middle. That's coming up tomorrow, too. All systems are go for tomorrow's Hillside Skins Challenge at Blue Heron. Jeff Sluman will be playing in the golf event that you can see right here on TV8 tomorrow night. That begins at 8 o'clock. We'll show you the best of that Skins Showdown. It'll feature Sluman, Bob Tway, Paul Azinger, and Joey Sindelar. Sluman was out at Oak Hill this afternoon playing around with Azinger and Tway as they get ready for next week's U.S. Open. Sluman says he's feeling just fine coming off an appendectomy a few weeks ago, and he says he's ready to give it a go tomorrow.
Went out and played 22 holes yesterday, 18 today, and yeah, I'm not 100%, but I'm playing all right, and just looking forward to playing the Hillside thing tomorrow and going to Westchester and seeing how I do.
Meanwhile, in the U.S. Open qualifier in Sharon Center, Ohio, Craig and Billy Harmon both missed the cut for the top 5 spots. Craig finished with a 159 total. Billy ended up at 156. Neither of those players will be at the Oak Hill Open. Then John Calabria, though, in a playoff now for one of those top 5 spots, and he is still playing in that playoff at last word, so he may make it in there. In Maryland, Jimmy Merva and Brian Cam also tried to qualify today, but we have no report on how they did just yet. The Open has a tough act to follow after yesterday's exception lopsiding finish to the Rochester International, Patty Sheehan forged her way back into a tie for the lead with an eagle on 17. But Ayako Okamoto still had an opportunity to win it on 18. The putt for birdie and the tournament. Sliding by, and that left the door open for Sheehan to win on the first hole of sudden death. It was the second year in a row Sheehan was in a playoff at Locust Hill, and this time she had a little pep talk with herself before playing the 18th again.
Okay, I'm tied for the lead again. Don't screw this up again. Just hang in there, make a par, and we'll see what happens. But it would have been disappointing, just like it was last year. But fortunately, things turn around.
I know Patty's been wanting to win, and Ayako has played so well and has been close many times. And you know, I like to watch that type golf. It's exciting to watch it.
Well, the Rochester Red Wings are off today. They prepare for an important home-and-home series with first-place Syracuse this week. And right-hander Kurt Schilling's been tabbed the IL's Pitcher of the Week. Schilling tossed a 5-hit shutout against Louisville last Friday to take that honor. Meanwhile, the Baltimore Orioles continue to fly high in the American League East. The O's won their 7th straight yesterday, sweeping the Tigers in Detroit. Baltimore also picked first in today's amateur draft, selecting hard-throwing right-hander Ben McDonald from LSU. So the future looks bright for last season's cellar dwellers. Mickey Tettleton says this year's momentum started on the very first day of the season.
So there was a lot of pressure on us to lose 40 in a row this year instead of 21. So I think, you know, the opening day win was probably the biggest thing that could have happened to us the whole season.
If we're still in first place in September, then maybe you'll start thinking about the pennant. But right now, we still have to go out, take it one day at a time. Don't think too far ahead.
And Michael Chang upset Ivan Lendl at the French Open today. We'll have that at 11.
All right, look forward to it. Thank you, JC. Coming up next, crime-fighting scholars.
Hi, Andy over at Gabrielli Ford in Churchville. And the weather's great and the selection is even better down here in our pre-enjoyed cars. And here's 2 examples. A 1987 Buick Skyhawk for the low price of $149 a month and $149 down. On my left, a 1987 Celebrity Eurosport wagon with the 3rd seat for the young'uns for $169 a month, $169 down. So listen, friends, give us a call at 293-3100, or better yet, come on over.
Just this much Cortaid heals more kinds of itches and rashes than all of these. Because Cortaid has a clinically proven healing medicine they don't have. That's why Cortaid is the itch aid.
Got a nice minty taste to it.
That's good.
Can you say that about your liquid antacid? If not, taste Tums Liquid.
It has a nice taste to it. It's delicious. Tums tastes the best.
Tums Liquid. It works, and it really tastes good.
The Borenkin Dance Ensemble performs at the Hochstein Music School Saturday, June 17th at 2 p.m. The free dance concert will include jazz, Caribbean dance, plus ballet.
Catch a preview of the upcoming U.S. Open as 4 of golf's finest compete in the Hillside Skins Challenge. I'm J.C. DeLast. Join me Tuesday night at 8 as TVA presents exclusive same-day coverage of this exciting event. Catch all the action as Joey Sindelar, Paul Azinger, Bob Tway, and Rochester's Jeff Sluman battle it out this Tuesday night at 8 exclusively on WROC-TV 8.
Sponsored in part by Rytown Millwork, Rochester Area Talking Phone Book, American Dairy Association, Marine Midland Bank, and Morris Motors Peugeot.
I must absent myself from the light of day. And therefore it is my fondest dream to journey to my bank, enveloped in the sheer magnificence of the night.
Oh, yes, you definitely can. Most Central Trust locations offer full-service banking later on weekdays and on Saturdays, too. If your bank doesn't, then journey to Central Trust, day or night.
The Sheriff's Department today recognized 3 Monroe Community College students for their outstanding work in the criminal justice field. Christian Cassini of Greece was chosen to receive the Sergeant Robert Skelton Scholarship for his 4.0 average after 2 semesters.
Patricia Craze of Fairport was awarded the Deputy Jeanette Fuino Memorial Scholarship for her 3.6 average, and Marianne McGuire of Gates was given a $100 award from the Society of Former Special Agents of the FBI. McGuire completed 3 semesters with a 3.3 average. Well, coming up tonight on Nightbeat, is it going to cost more to ride an RTS bus?
And the SAT exam, does it need to be revamped? Join us for these stories and more tonight at 11.
Good night.
Good night.